Alright, check this one out from the NBCWashington.com. We have an article here. It's titled "Meet the 45-foot woman set to stand on the National Mall." So I'm going to read to you this article, and you will hopefully see why it has my bullcrap sisters tingling. First of all, let me give you my opinion of the whole thing. First of all, yes, this is pagan. Clearly, in my opinion, this is pagan, and it's confirmation that we do live in a post-Christian era. This is obviously idol worship. This statue was at Burning Man, according to the article, and in Burning Man, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but Burning Man is held during the summer solstice, so it is a sun worshiping festival. And now this statue is going to be placed, if you look at these pictures that the article has, the statue is going to be placed in front of the Washington Monument, which is a symbol of the sun and the masculine procreative force. And so, second of all, this thing is just disturbing. When you consider that young people will be looking at this statue, this giant statue of a nude woman. I mean, I guess a statue of any size would be just as bad, but you have to consider you're going to have young men, or when I say young men, I'm talking about men and boys in their puberty, I'll just say that, and even young girls looking at it. And these are things that they probably shouldn't be seeing at their age. So, moving on, I guess, the bottom line about this also is that whatever purpose this person claims they're doing it for, I hardly see how this meets their purpose. I don't see how anyone can look at this statue, and if this statue was meant to encourage people to not see women as sexual objects, I don't see how anyone can look at this statue and think, well, I don't see women in a sexual manner when I'm looking at this statue. So it's it could just be that the person is just really weird like that, or the story that what they're claiming is just complete bullcrap. And that's actually what I think it is. Just briefly, I need to edit this in. I forgot to mention that the name of this statue was Deja, or Deja, spelled D-E-J-A, as in deja vu, but it's Deja Solis, and Solis, of course, means sun. So, Deja or Deja Solis would mean in remembrance of the sun. So that further proves that this has more to do, at least by what they show us, with goddess worship or sun worship, worship of the sun and the goddess, than, well, the creator's claimed purpose. If not more, then at least as much as has as much importance as the creator's claimed purpose. So moving on and reading this article, organizers of an arts festival have launched a crowdfunding campaign to bring a 45-foot statue of a naked woman to stand on the National Mall facing the White House. Organizers of the Catharsis on the Mall Festival need $90,000 to bring artist Marco Cochran and his team to assemble the statue in D.C. ahead of the festival, which is scheduled between November 10th and November 12th. Organizers say that the statue will stay up until March, and it will be facing the White House. So being up during March, that would, or I mean November until March, that would pretty much mean that it's going to be up during the winter solstice. And I'm looking at these people. I'm going to show you a video that they put together, and hopefully I don't get a copyright claim on it. But in this video you will see how these people are obviously, at least in my opinion, witches. They may be identifying as New Age or spiritual or whatever else, but it's all just witchcraft. And witchcraft, these people are nature worshippers. They are worshiping the gods and goddesses of nature, and so that would include the sun and Mother Earth, who is the well, let's not get into all of that. I have a video on witchcraft on my main channel that I recommend anyone who wants to know more about witchcraft look at. So looking at some of these pictures, this first one, we see where the woman is, this giant woman is illuminated and standing before the obelisk. Obviously you think about Isis and Osiris, or Isis and Horus, which is essentially the sun god reborn. Or you can think about Tammuz and Inanna. It's just the old mother goddess and sun worship. Now I think this second picture is very interesting. The way they have the sun positioned right there at her essentially her crotch area. Two things come to my mind here. I think about the chakra, no, three things actually. The chakra points, right? They believe in. So I believe this picture was chosen to be shown because of the belief in that lower chakra point that would be right there at that crotch area. And second, because it is on her female reproductive area, that is representing the female generative force, which is also seen in, let's say, the Masonic square and compass. You know, the square represents the feminine, the compass represents the masculine, and when those two come together, you know, that synthesis, you know, life is created. And they have chosen this picture partly to represent that. And the third thing that came to mind is that when the sun god is birthed by the earth goddess, the sun comes through her birth canal. And that is what I believe we're looking at. You know, we're looking at the sun coming through her birth canal. So no matter how they try, whatever they say, is clear by looking at what they do, that this is mother goddess and sun worship. In this third picture they have here, you see them gathered in a circle, and they appear to be I don't know what that is. It looks like a basket, but anyway, these people, they are a bunch of nature worshiping Wiccans. And I'm not trying to offend people here, but well, this is in my opinion, this is a Christian channel anyway, so I'm sorry if anyone who is not Christian comes here and gets offended, but I'm not going to where you are to offend you. Okay, so you're actually coming here to my channel, and if I happen to offend you, I apologize for that, but I didn't go looking to offend you. Let's just put it that way. And okay, so this third picture, once again, we see the sun placed in her crotch area. And so for all the reasons I mentioned before, this picture was also chosen, and it is very telling. And so, okay, let's read some of Cochrane's quotes here. The statue is made of welded steel rods, stainless steel mesh skin, and interactive lighting. It is intended to make a strong statement condemning violence against women, Cochran said. Cochran said he was inspired to build the statue because of a childhood experience with a friend who was sexually abused. Now, these are his words. The guy must not have seen her as a person, Cochran said. If he had, he wouldn't have done this. So somehow, putting up a giant statue of a nude woman is going to help us see women as people and not as sexual objects. So, like I said, the logic behind this is just, it's completely missing in my opinion. Okay, so and here this is the fourth picture, I believe. So we are seeing now the sun placed at, well, I guess would be her heart. They seem to be, these aren't just randomly chosen pictures, like I mentioned. These pictures are chosen for a reason, and they are to invoke this image of this woman and some sort of light as like a goddess. But okay, so this last thing here, the last part of Marco's quote, artist Marco Cochran says he wants people to see the statue and ask, or people who see the statue to ask, what would the world be like if women were safe? So, building a 45-foot statue of a nude woman is going to make people ask that question. I don't think so. I think that's probably going to be the last thing that comes to their mind when they see the statue. Now there was one other, what was it? Maybe that's in the video. I'm going to let you see that video, and I may comment on a few things, maybe not, but I hope you find it informative, and I hope I don't get a copyright claim on it.
Revolution, or Our Evolution, is a 45-foot tall sculpture of a woman in mountain pose.
It's a woman looking up to the future, and she has her arms outreached and stretched out, and she's asking for equal rights. That's what it means to me.
With your help, we are going to be able to bring her right here to the National Mall in Washington, D.C. for 4 months, all winter long.
That's a huge amount of time to make a statement. We can organize actions around that, have put flowers at her feet.
Hello, I'm Marco Cochran.
And I'm Julia Whitelaw, and we, along with the Bliss crew, brought the Bliss Project to Burning Man. In 2010, we brought Bliss Stands. In 2013, Truth is Beauty, and in 2015, Revolution, or Our Evolution. We're standing on the mall right now in Washington, D.C., and we're super excited to be bringing Revolution to Catharsis on the mall. The theme is Nurturing the Heart, and that is just perfect for the Bliss Project.
What's amazing about Catharsis on the Mall is that it's an event of people coming together and bringing forth a lot of these expressions into the national discussion, but in a very fun and loving way.
Okay, I want to briefly talk about this booth that this man appears to be in here. If you look at it, it may not be easy to tell, but at this position, but he is clearly inside a, let's just say, the female reproductive system. You have him, that would be in the opening there, and above that, where the phoenix is, you have I suppose that would be the womb with the fallopian tubes on either side. And so, the phoenix represents rebirth, regeneration, death and rebirth, and that is the whole idea behind worshiping these male and female principles. Once again, what they say and what they show are two different things.
I feel like there's so much beautiful energy out at Burning Man. We're just resurrecting this amazing energy right here. People are astounded when they see this art and the art cars and everything. It's amazing when they just happen onto this event.
It's a participatory experience. It's not just watching a show or raising your fist in protest. It's an interactive community demonstration.
It's a great way for people to come together and respond to a lot of the issues that are coming into our collective consciousness.
Let's talk about this woman wearing the eye on her earrings. Now, she I wouldn't go as far as to say she's affiliated with any Illuminati or anything like that. She's wearing the eye obviously as a symbol of illumination, or the third eye as a spiritual symbol. And I have done a video on the all-seeing eye, and in that video I think I do a pretty decent job of breaking down how the eye is said to represent light in the spirit and things like that. But as a Christian, I wouldn't recommend anyone using that symbol or wearing it or anything like that, especially since it's usually associated with darker forces.
I didn't realize until I got here that this is where the statements about what America is about are made. So it's really amazing to be able to put this piece right over there.
We need a huge symbol on the Washington Mall, and it's going to be right next to the Washington Monument and between the White House.
This kind of calm, loving energy is really important in the world.
And she won't be standing alone. The entire time that our evolution is up on the National Mall, we'll be holding a 24-hour vigil, day and night.
So in addition to your donation, you can also sign up to be one of the vigil keepers. It's another amazing way to join our evolution.
Your donation will go directly to bringing our evolution right here on the mall for catharsis.
We need your money!
Caitlin Matthews is a priestess of Isis, and she says this: Gnosticism serves most admirably as a bridge for paganism to infiltrate Christianity in our time. And she's the one who announces the second coming of the goddess, the Sophianic millennium, the era of the goddess, where all peoples and all faiths will be united together. And of course, at that moment, Yahweh must be silenced. And so many radical feminists have attempted to do that. Naomi Goldenberg said in 1979, at the beginning of this movement, we women are going to bring an end to God. We are engaged in the slow execution of Christ and Yahweh. A Lutheran scholar dismissed the Creator God of the Bible as, quote, insane, pathologically violent, and suffering from multiple personal disorder. States which are the result of an archaic first-century understanding of God as a theistic being. You see, the whole rejection of theism, of God separate from us, of what I call twoism, that there are two kinds of existence in the whole of reality. One is the Creator, who never has a beginning, and everything else is creation, which began when God said, at that moment, let there be. He says, tomorrow's culture will be religiously pagan. Mother Earth will be the consciously chosen symbol, referring to everything about the Earth's ecosystem. Anyway, his books are being promoted by the Jesus Seminar. He says then that the loving care of Mother Earth is in many quarters replacing the former sense of obedience to the Heavenly Father. That's just one of these thinkers. A crucial man to know is Thomas Berry, an ex-Roman Catholic priest who just died a year or so ago. calls himself a geologian, and he is at the head of a cohort of Western intellectuals closely identified with the United Nations, seeking to transform our planet into a world that worships at the feet of Mother Nature.